literally, I see the kid and hear his tractor going through the town
Motivated.
every single day, from the time he gets done school until 9 o'clock at night. They say,
It's
you know,
dark.
it's like he might not be the smartest, but he's the hardest worker.
Yeah. When I went to college, I had a really good advisor who, you know, sometimes I felt like I shouldn't be in college. I wasn't smart enough because stuff like went over my head at times, you know, whatever. And I was a baseball player, so I remember one, at least spring, we played 60 games in 69 days. So we had 9 days off in a 2.5 month period or whatever. It was rough. And close to 40 of the games were away. So we were trapped, right? So I was never in class. So it was so hard to keep up, right? And I felt like, what am I doing here, you know? I want to play baseball, that's it. I don't want to go to school, you know? And I remember sitting talking with him, I was probably complaining, right? I said, you know, I'm just trying to stay eligible. You had to have a 2.0 in NCAA's at that time at least to stay eligible. So that meant, what is a 2.0?
C.
A C, right? Straight C's. If you got straight C's, you could stay eligible and play. So that was my goal. I'm going to do better than a 2.0. So I had a 2.5 at that time. And I said, his name was Professor Nutter. I said to him, you know, I'm a 2.5, barely getting by in school. I want to play baseball. And he was a big baseball fan. He came to every home game, like he loved baseball and supported our team and everything. And I remember saying, I'm a 2.5 student. I want to play baseball. I really don't care about school that much. And he impacted me really big with one easy, simple statement. He said, in my world, because he had been a real estate investor, a realtor, and a corporate guy at one point, and got sick of it, made a lot of money, and said, I want to teach. So he was teaching because he wanted to teach, you know? And he had, his passive income was like $20-something thousand a month, passive, cash flow. He didn't have to work. And it was in Virginia where it's a lot less, cost of living there, right? So his mortgage was paid off, all this, and he was in his 50s. He was young, you know? So he said, the impactful statement he said is, John, in my world, in my 30-some years of being in business and things, 2.5 GPA people are the bosses of 4.0s. Because the 4.0s get stuck in their head and, you know, they're all about theory and all this stuff. The 2.5 are the ones saying, let's go, right? We could do this, but I can do it by myself. You gotta help me, you know, get the smart ones with me, you know. And he said to me, and I was like, wow, is that really true, you know? And he said, I know you, John, you're something special. 2.5 means nothing. Don't even look at it. You're gonna be successful in your life because you're willing to work hard. He saw me on the field, he saw me in the classroom. I was trying, like, you know, I probably was the smartest. I felt like I had reading comprehension issues, right? I'm like, I read it, but I don't know what it says to take a test on it, right? My daughter, Jess, who I showed you, she's such a good test taker because she reads something and she knows it. Like, it's crazy. It's awesome, right? You know, I just wish I had that. But I'm better now than I used to be. And then millionaires are consistent. They're not all over the place. They're not doing good here and then screwing up here. And then they have a consistent schedule. They have a consistent idea of what they're doing. They do all these things consistently. Does that help you a little bit? Think about what kind of C can you put next to your statement for you? What kind of change can you put? Almost done. We talked about this last Wealth Building Wednesday. How do we go from a salesperson to a business owner, right? That's what I want you guys to think about. You got to know your numbers to be a business person. If you ever watch Shark Tank, you like Shark Tank? I love Shark Tank. I love Mr. Wonderful even though he's a jerk, right? Because you need a personality like that. You don't need an easy guy, right? You need somebody to tell people, what does he tell? You're dead to me. Because you didn't do a deal with me. So you're dead to me. I don't even care about you anymore, right? Go away. But what is the one thing they always ask people who have this really cool idea, maybe not the business isn't really set up, it's newer business usually, they're looking for an investment from a shark to help them take it to another level, right? What is the one thing they always ask them?
What are the numbers?
Yeah, what are your numbers? How much did you sell? How much does it cost to make your widget or whatever, right? How much can you sell it for? Who are you in business with now? Are you in Walmart, right? Are you in Bed Bath & Beyond? You hear these stores all the time, right, on that show? I love Lori, right? I can get you on QVC. You'll be a millionaire in 2 months, right? Because we'll sell thousands of these things. I remember the sponge guy. You remember the sponge guy?
That was the best one, Dad.
Sponge Daddy or something.
Yeah.
The guy killed it with Lori. I mean, and he came up with just like a basic idea of convenience for you in the house, you know, whatever. Awesome. What numbers should we track? Income, expenses, and profit. What is the difference between income and profit? Not you, Larry.
We got gross and net.
Profit, I would say profit is minus your expenses.
Yes, so the income minus your expenses gives you the profit. But I like this statement. It doesn't matter how much money you make, because it really doesn't. It matters how much you take home. So we can all make $1 million, but if we're spending $1 million, who cares? Stop. Either cut expenses or, you know, right? Or make more revenue that you can bring some profit in. So I love these agents say, I'm a multi-millionaire agent. I got it on my card. I won an award for it. And you realize they did $2 million in sales. They brought in $50,000 at 2.5%, right? Or $60,000 at 3% commission rates, right? And their expenses were $40,000, so they brought home $20,000. And they're a multi-millionaire agent. And they make $20,000 in profit every year. And we would all say, I can't live in this area on that. If you're the only breadwinner for your family, you're not even paying rent probably on that, let alone all your other expenses. Right? So what you take home matters. We can focus on the four conversations, right? How many appointments do we have? We start there, right? How many listings do we have from that? How many closings do we get from that? And what's our GCI from that? It all goes together. It's walking down the road. And don't go off those steps. It starts with appointments. How do I get an appointment? If somebody stops me in the hallways of our market centers or wherever else and says, what should I do today? Guess what I say? Get a new appointment. That's what you should do today. Well, how do I get it? Hey, good luck. There's lots of ways. You guys all do it differently and you get them. You're not doing the same exact things to get your appointments, right? But we go back to the first slide and say, build relationships. That's definitely going to help you, right? Farming, expireds, right? Open houses. There's a lot of ways to focus to get them. The problem is we're not systematic in the 3 that we should be doing. We're all over the place, and now it's random, and we have no consistency, which is what John Maxwell says. The successful, truly successful people are consistent. They know where they're going to get it, and they go get it, and they do it all the time. Yeah.
I think sometimes we fall into what makes us comfortable that
Yeah.
we've gotten good at.
Yeah.
And we're okay with, this is the easy way that I do, but
Yeah.
putting in the hard stuff and eventually mastering those
Get one
is
more.
what's
right?
going to
Yeah.
propel you to the next level. And
That's right.
That we, getting you, what is it? Get comfortable being uncomfortable all the time.
Yeah,
and
get
that's
comfortable
where-
with being uncomfortable. Yeah. Whenever I feel like I'm comfortable, I start to get a little nervous. Like I get a little pit in my stomach, like I shouldn't be that comfortable. Like it's kind of a goal to be comfortable, right?
That's actually, I was gonna say that, like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, how can I get uncomfortable today?
That's awesome.
Like, that's my
That's
goal.
a great mindset.
Yeah,
It's a great mindset. Because you'll do something differently.
Right.
And you'll be consistent
Right.
when you have that mindset. And let me just tell you, Daisy, leaders, we can't make people think that way, right? We want to. I love to shake some of you guys, right? Sometimes, especially when you're down and it's like, come on, Jeff, get a new appointment. Right there will give you the encouragement to go, right? So what do I do today? Get a new appointment. Whenever you ask yourself, what should I do today? Get a new appointment. I don't care how you do it. All right? And then this is where we're coming to Daisy's first comment when we started the class when they were having technology problems. You've got to have a system or a model that you follow. You have to, if you really want to be good at this business, and you want to scale it and maximize and change you and your family's lives, right? You have to have a system or model that you follow. So we talk about a touch system, pretty much with your database, right? But it could be people you've never met. It's just the ratio's worse. So the people you haven't met, it's going to be every 50 of them that you consistently touch is going to give you one transaction. If it's people you have met, it's every 12 there's 2. So the ratio is so much. It's 1 to 6 instead of 1 to 50. Which one would you rather do, right? It like becomes pretty obvious. Now, you could get really good on the 12 to 2. And now you have to add something, and there's nothing else to add there. Well, 50 to 1 is a good addition because you mastered this. Now maybe I need to go out and farm a neighborhood, or I need, and I haven't met all those people, right? But what if you farmed a neighborhood that had 200 houses in it, and you were consistent? How many closed transactions would you get based on what I'm talking about right now? 4. 1 every 50, right? 4 transactions if you touch 200 people on a regular basis. And sometimes it's just bringing value. You're not even asking for the bid. You're bringing value. You might be helping them some way, right? Whatever it is. It's funny, when I started to farm my neighborhood, I actually started to get, my neighbors weren't moving, but they were giving me referrals to people they knew who were. So I wasn't getting business out of the farm, really. I was envisioning putting signs up in my neighborhood and driving by them and going, that's a nice sign, I'll eat that sign, right? Or I remember having 3 signs on one road in my neighborhood at one time. 2 of them had sold things on, and 1 was a new one, and we sold the 3rd one. And it was just a fun, they're $500,000 house at the time. They're $400,000 or $500,000 house. That's over $1 million as I went to work every day. That's kind of an encouragement, right? You're like, yeah. Berkshire and Remax, stay out. I got this. Right? You handle your area, right? So that's where I'm coming from. So time block and lead gen, right? In order to really do lead gen, I think you have to block time. You're going to do it consistently because you're going to, from this class at least, one of the changes you're going to make, right, is to build relationships and have that on top of your mind, right? Okay, good. So, but as you're building relationships, you still have to time block, right? Sometimes you have to time block for servicing your clients. So I have 2 clients right now who can't do anything until after work. So I'm going to time block an hour or 2 just for them, 2-3 times a week or whatever. And I'm going to tell my family I will be home by this time because I'm blocking them. So then you tell your client, I need to be done by this time. They respect you, right? Because if you really did have an appointment, you would do that, right? I remember going on 2 or 3 listing appointments in one night. So I was like, are you going to sign now? Because I got to go to the next one. Right? I got to hurry this up here. That's a good night though, right? But you get a little bit like, what did I say to this one, at the 3rd one, have I talked about such and such? Because you said it so many times. So when you time plot for focus, you can go to the MREA page 294, and it talks about time blocking. It's right there. It tells you everything you need to know. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't. It's good. So get the dust off that book. Pull it out and look at this. We need to be in business, not busyness, right? To be in business is different than being in busyness. So with the one thing I love, because he tells us to have a to-do list is good, but then we should have a have-to-do list, or what Gary calls it a success list. He called it a have-to-do list in the MREA, and he changed it to a success list because I like that better too. So you have 10 things you need to do on your to-do list. Well, there's really only 3 that I have to do today, or that I have to do that will change everything. The other 7 I'm going to bang out whenever I feel like it, because they're easy. Picking up a prescription at CVS, right, could be on your to-do list because it's important, but that's not something you have to do and accomplish in your business workday, right? So just leave it on the list, just put it below the have-to-dos, the success list. There's 3 that you probably do have to do. Budget your time, or someone else will. We already talked about that. You can't budget all of your time, or you'll drive yourself and everyone around you absolutely insane and crazy, and no one will like you. And to be a good realtor, people actually need to like you. So you need to be likable, okay? So you can't be rigid about this. You need to be smart about this. Time block lead gen, time block family time block servicing clients, time block running errands. Carrie and I sometimes like to run errands on the weekend just to clear our heads and be together, and right? And we're doing the stupidest things. Like, none of them are exciting, but we're doing them together and we're talking as we go, and it's good, right? Focus on leads, listings, and leverage. Remember, I've drawn this before. It's in the MRA book. It's the 3 L's of real estate, right? Leads are on the bottom. It's the foundation, listings, and leverage. We want to focus on at least the leads and listings until we can get the leverage, because we need it, right? But focus on leads and then converting them into listings. And I'm going to end with this. I want to do this another time, maybe at a Wealth Building Wednesday or something. I want to focus in on the 6 personal perspectives, which is what Gary teaches at a really, really high level. And to me, this is life-changing mindset stuff. So I'm just going to go through it real quick. Commit to self-mastery. What does that mean?
You're responsible for yourself.
Yeah. Master what you need to master. Commit to it, right? I can't do everything for Jeffrey. I can't, right? But I can help you go in the right direction. But you got to do it. So master what you need to master, which could be lead gen, could be converting leads, right? It could be budgeting my money better. I don't know what it is. And it could be all of it, and that's okay. But commit to it, right? Being the best version of you, I guess is what I'd say. How can you be the best version of you? The best husband, the best father, the best wife, mother, sister, right? Office mate. Commit to the 80-20 principle. What does that mean?
20% of what you do affects 80% of what you get.
It gives you the results, 80%, yeah.
Okay.
The Pareto principle, right? So 20% of your actions are actually going to make you 80% of your money or your results or whatever it is, right? So focus on the 20%, not the 80. Lead with revenue, make the money, and then hire someone to do the 80. That's when your life totally gets changed. Some of us are control freaks and we have a hard time giving it up. But I can guarantee you, having a Kathleen, she's better at the 80% than I am, way better, right? So she has changed my life because she takes it and runs with it, and I know it's done, and it's done better than I probably would have done it, because I'd have been flying and missing stuff, right? And not being consistent and good. Move from E to P. Anybody remember E to P? What it means? Entrepreneurial to purposeful.
Purposeful.
So go from entrepreneurial, which you all are, to purposeful. That's when you have a breakthrough. That's when you go to another level. That's when you have, I just talked to an agent we're recruiting from Berkshire, and she said, I feel like I'm broke all the time. She does okay, right? If everybody was looking at her from the outside. But I just feel like I'm broke all the time. And I need more. I want to have a bank account that I'm proud of, I want to have an emergency. I want to help my mom. There was some motivation. And I was like, wow. Let's harness that pain that you're feeling, and let's create some change. Let's do purposeful behavior rather than the entrepreneurial stuff you're doing right now. That's getting you by, but that doesn't feel good. You're not in the right place yet. We need to break through. Let's become a little more purposeful, and that's the direction we're going in. Good. Be learning based. I don't have to preach that to you guys. You're here. So thank you for coming. You are learning based. I'm convinced of it. Remove your limiting beliefs. What does that mean?
They don't want to talk to me. They're not home. Can I give an example? What just happened to me that has helped me with the limiting beliefs?
Absolutely.
Just the silliest thing, but so you know how I'm looking for a new car. So I went online. Of course you said one name on there, and now they're calling me. I was surprised since last week how many times I received a phone call and a follow-up email from a local dealership here. It was probably in the dozens, and it was every day, whether it was morning, noon, and night. And I'm just like, they don't care if it's annoying, but they're still calling in the hopes that they'll call 100 times to get me in there. And I was like, well, everybody that we meet, a lot of times they are waiting for us to call. They want us to take the first step and do it anyway. But it wasn't, I didn't find it irritating that they were calling me. I was just like, but it was funny how they didn't even care what I was saying. Like, no, I couldn't get in. Great. When can you get in? They didn't even care the conversation.
Nope.
They were just making those phone
Touch
calls.
base.
Yeah, I was really.
Which shows you they have a really good system.
They did.
Because they don't forget you.
Yeah, and it was different people. So whoever was on that day
It
gets a
probably
list,
popped up.
and they just keep calling. And it didn't matter that they've never spoken to me. I thought that was pretty.
And you might buy a car from them because of that.
Yes, I know.
There's a training that I have gone to, it's called 10, 4, and 7. 10 in the morning, a reason 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or 7 o'clock at night, you will reach one of those 3 times. So if you're going to do it those 3 times during the day.
Yep. Good. I think of limiting beliefs are the things that hold you down that are in your own head. It's not an exterior person saying it to you. It's not Jeffrey telling me I suck at that or whatever I'm thinking, right? Or that they're not going to like it if I call, so I'm just not going to call. Whatever it is, right? A limiting belief. It's getting rid of them out of my head. Having the mindset that they no longer exist. It's no negativity, no limiting beliefs. I'm going. Right? And I can't tell you how many times I needed to make follow-up calls, right? And I was dreading it because I didn't want to talk to this one person because I can't get off the phone with them or whatever the issue is, right? And I make that one call and it goes really, really well. And then I do the second call and that goes and then they keep getting better. And then I'm through the list before I know it. And I'm like, that wasn't so bad. What was I dreading? You're such an idiot when I'm looking in the mirror, So get over it. That's what I'm saying. Okay?
To touch a little bit on that, I have reminders on my phone
Yeah.
that go off like 4 times a day.
Reminders.
Yeah, that
Uh-huh.
say like, reflecting like limiting beliefs that I had
Awesome.
about myself, and they just like, it could be anything. It could be I'm grateful for my family, like just, and
Like an
they're
affirmation.
an affirmation, and so they pop up every 4 times a day.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, that kind of shakes you out of whatever
Right, exactly.
doldrum you might
Yep.
be in, or smack you back into focus maybe, or whatever
Yeah,
it is, right?
that's exactly it. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's great. The last one is be accountable. Remember we talked about successful people are responsible. They take personal responsibility. Well, be accountable. It's really, really hard for us to be accountable to ourselves because we rationalize mediocrity and we rationalize unsuccessful things, right? I'll do it tomorrow, right? No one's going to die, so I don't have to do it right now, Guess what? My friend Dick, if he was here, he'd say, you don't have tomorrow as a guarantee. And he would have said that if he was here before he passed away. Because he used to tell us, the scripture says life is like a baby. It's gone. Right? And so at the end of the day, who is the best you? Who's the best me? What transformation do I need? It might be a smaller transformation than I need, that you need to make. It might be several transformations you need because of different sections of your life, right? But what transformation, what change needs to take place that you can do starting tomorrow? That's what I'd like you to think about. That's what this Wealth Building Wednesday is about. If you're going to build wealth, you better be purposeful. You better stop being entrepreneurial and flying by the seat of your pants and surviving and change that to purposeful behavior, right? If you're going to be wealthy, stop focusing on the 80%. The 80% doesn't make you wealthy. Now, for some of us, wealthy doesn't really mean money or bank accounts or houses. It means the life I want, the lifestyle that I want. You know, it doesn't always have to be material, financial. It could be spiritual. It could be physical. It could be family and your relationships that are closest to you. You're enhancing them. You're bettering them, right? When you get marriage counseling, those of you who've been married, right? You've been through counseling. Some of us was a long time ago, right? But if you go to marriage counseling, what do they say?
That's still happening.
Yeah. And what do they say? What does the counselor say to you? It's hard work. It's hard work. You have to make an effort, right? It can't be all about you. And guess what? Brian Regan, the comedian, would say, oh, that's right. It's your world. I forgot. Right? When things happen in his life, right? Guess what? It's not our world, right? If I get in my car right now and get in a car accident and die, I hate to be morbid, but, you know, and I'm dead, you guys will replace me in a heartbeat, and you'll be fine, right? Now, I think I have some value, and I have value, right, whatever. But somebody else might come in and be better. That's okay. We're all replaceable. And we're not going to live forever. One of my friends who's a biology, he's like, John, your body's rotting. You just don't look at it that way. Every day you're getting older, you're rotting. You know, like, we try to keep our bodies up, right, and everything. But at the end of the day, we're not getting younger. And we can't turn back the clock. So stop looking back. Start looking ahead. Make the change that needs to be made. Whatever it is. Do one thing. Will you promise me you'll do one thing that you can change, that you can do, that you can put in place, whatever, from this today? Yes?
Sure. Absolutely.
All right. All right, great. Thanks for coming, guys. I really appreciate it. This was long, but it was See that? I didn't have any more slides. Good.